Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Witch on the Holy Night video because I just finished working, and as you can tell from my voice, slightly a little bit tired, but that's okay because that means I can just continue on reading, especially as I continue to wait for the event on Summer, which just started over on NA, to just kind of continue forward a little bit more. Not sure if anyone's actually interested in hearing me do the story for that one. I thought I had actually already had done it, and then I realized, oh wait, no, I just read that story and remembered it being like really weird with everything, so I don't know how to approach that. But anyway, let's continue where we left off, Witch on the Holy Night. Anyway, what have you been reading? When we last left off, Aoko had a really rough day, and then now she's home. She went to bed. Not went to bed, she was drinking some tea, she passed out, and now she's here talking to Alice. That's what happened previously on. A book about spiritual evolution based on the spiritual diary.
Ah,
Swedenborg, huh? Is that really worth reading again? I wouldn't bother if it were the original, but this is a knockoff.
彼の欠点と長所を劇的に褒め上げている。よくできた冒険小説のようよ。立ちはだかる秘密組織の名前がカントとか気が利いているわ。
It exaggerates the pros and cons of Swedenborg's style and reads like a well-written adventure. Having the secret organization Kant standing in his way was a nice addition.
筆跡はあなたのおじいさんのものだけど。
The handwriting on the notes in the margin belongs to your grandfather, by the way.
へえ、あの人そういう趣味まであったんだ。割とユーモアがあったのね。惜しい人を亡くしたわ。
I had no idea he was into that sort of thing. He had a great sense of humor. I really miss him. Aoko seemed nostalgic over her now deceased grandfather.
あなたのおじいさん、夏に頼りをくれたけど。
He just contacted you this last summer, didn't he?
よしてよ、死んだものと考えたいのに。
Do we really have to go there? Why can't dead stay dead? That's a good question. Aoko sighed and laid back on the sofa. The soft cushions caved in under her weight.
話は戻るけど。
As I was saying, Alice shot a glance at Aoko. Her body, buried in the sofa, remained as still as a corpse. It was clear Aoko had tuned out of the conversation. Alice silently chastised her with a look. The more she thought about it, the less important the events of the day seemed to become. If you just ignored Alice, the conversation would end there. They would eventually get up and leave today's mistake unresolved for another day. However, that's not the kind of person Aoko Ozaki was.
いいわよ。何?
Yeah, what is it? She asked, still lying down.
今日できなかったのは少し痛いわね。
It's upsetting that you failed today.
だから反省してるって。学校優先は一人前になってからでしょ。
Like I said, I'm thinking about it. I need to focus on becoming a full-fledged mage before I think about a school. You know, I know that.
ならいいけど。
I hope you do. The coldness in her voice made Aoko gnash her teeth. She knew what Alice wanted to say. She knew better than anyone. The veneer she wore for school was different than the way she lived at home. While it could be called hiding in plain sight, Alice thought it was silly. What the silence told her was, make up your mind already, I know. Today's failure was not a colossal one. She just happened to upset the delicate balance between her home and school lives, chasing one at the expense of the other. And yet, that careless mistake was a clear sign of Aoko's lack of commitment. This doesn't concern Alice, it's my decision to make. She had only known for sure for the last year and a half, but she had a hunch for as long as she could remember. Make the choice and the day will come. It was little wonder that her morals and conscience had been stripped away. Aoko pushed herself back up. She was met by Alice's cold beauty and wordless gaze.
OK、アリス。来週中に決着をつけよう。
Okay, Alice, we can do it next week.
それでいいんでしょ
That works for you?
ええ、青子がいいなら。
As long as it works for you. Alko could not help but shake her head, feeling like she was hearing something similar for the second time that day. Even in the comfort of her own, she couldn't banish thoughts of that country boy from her mind.
じゃあ、下準備はよろしくね。私まだできないし。
I'll let you set it up then. That's still beyond my abilities.
場所は例の公園でいい？
Should we do it in that park?
妥当な線ね。あ、でももう一軒の方は
Sure, the line there is suitable enough, but what about the other thing?
そっちの方が急務じゃない
Isn't that a more urgent concern?
時と場合、森に変化があれば教えるわ。
It depends on the conditions. I'll let you know if there are any changes to the woods. After that brief exchange, Alice returned her attention to the book on her lap. Shop talk was over. Now they could return to their normal relationship as roommates. Alko grabbed the remote and turned on the TV. Since Alice was busy reading, Alko decided to tune into a variety show that had already started. Ah. Alice started to speak but suddenly cut herself off. One of her delicate hands raised to her mouth. She would always cut herself off the second she realized she was about to say something trivial. Sometimes her self-restraint would hit too late and she would make a gesture like the one she was making now. It occurred to Alko that the ah sound her cute little roommate made just now was different than the wah she blurted in times past.
何
What is it? Alko turned down the volume on the TV. Her intense eyes lit up like those of a mischievous cat.
どうということはないんだけど。
It's nothing really, but...
ないんだけど
But what? Alice looked away bashfully, not knowing if she could bring it up or not. It was times like these that her expressions carried a real warmth and surprising charm. If he could see her in this moment, Alice's father would have to admit that her name suited her perfectly.
今日帰ってくるときおかしなものを見て誰かに話そうと思っていたんだけど。
It's just that I saw something strange on my way home and I wanted to tell someone about it. Alko nodded, beckoning her to continue.
つまらない。本当に意味のないことよ。
It's silly, really,
けど、どう考えてもそんなことをする理由がわからない。
but I just can't make sense of it no matter how much I think about it.
人間ぐらいの大きな猫がひょこひょこ出前をする理由ってわかる？
Alko, do you have any idea why a man-sized cat would be riding around town delivering meals to people? Well, he has a 9 to 5 is what it sounds like. For a second, Alko thought Alice was trying and failing miserably to make a joke again. One would think that one would think that about anyone, really. But she seemed completely serious. Even if Alice's sense of humor fell flat for Alko, the story already sounded more fanciful than Alice's usual attempts at jokes. Alko concluded that her roommate was talking about something she had actually seen.
その話には2つぐらい信じがたい部分があるけど、1つずつ論破していい？
There are a few things off about that. Maybe we should break it down. Break it down. She's in Startup Generation X right here. D-Generation X. Let's not. Even I can think of a few mundane explanations.
理由がわからないから聞いてるの。わざわざ精巧な猫のぬいぐるみを着て出前のてんやものを届けに行くことってそんなに簡単かしらね。
I'm just asking because I can't figure out why somebody would do that. Maybe it's as simple as someone just dressing up in a finely crafted catsuit to deliver food for a restaurant?
難易度以前にそれをやる人間の常識性を疑うけどね、私は。
I'm more worried about the person doing it than their reasons personally. Alice nodded tentatively at her words.
まあ、世の中いろいろあるから。私たちみたいなのもいれば、下界から遮断された山奥で暮らしていたやつ。
Is it really that weird? Am I the only one here who thinks that's not a weird thing to see? But whatever does it for them, I guess, in a world of people like us and weirdos that live like mountain hermits, there's no telling what kinds of freaks are out there.
私だったら見かけたら声かけて理由を尋ねただろうけど。
I personally would have just gone up to them and asked them what they were doing. Alice's gaze drifted at that.
暮れゆく住宅街にさまよう出前猫か。背景が夕焼けだったらファンタジーだったでしょうに。
A delivery cat riding through neighborhoods in the evening sounds like something straight out of a fantasy story.
今日の夕飯どうする？せっかく話が出たし、私らもてんやものにしようか。
Hey, what should we do for dinner tonight? Speaking of delivery, maybe we should order in. Alco loved getting takeout, and her face glowed as she spoke. They had no hard rules for dinner, but if one of them was in the mood to cook, they made it a point to make enough for two. At the very worst, this meant entire weeks without dinner, but the two of them agreed that this was the system that worked best for them. Whether they found cooking to be too much effort or simply liked ordering out, nights like this one were a common occurrence, much to the chagrin of the restaurants of Misaki Town. Delivering to the mansion meant coming up all the way to the top of the hill, the source of their disgruntlement.
時間は8時前。ギリギリセーフね。私今月がいいな。あそこの月見そば最近ご無沙汰だったし。
It's still before 8, so we're good. I'm really in the mood for Kangetsu tonight. I haven't had their tsukimi soba in ages. The hungry student council president laid out a stack of takeout menus, like she might fan a deck of cards and excitedly scanned for anything that stood out. Alice casually responded without sparing so much as a glance.
悪いけど、私夕飯済んでるの。
Sorry, but I've already had dinner. With those words, Elko froze. All deliveries required a minimum of 2 items, so she was out of luck without an accomplice. Cruel society had decided that it couldn't be bothered to deliver to a princess who only ordered a single serving of food. How times have changed. Now you can just ask a guy to go to a 7-Eleven and pick you up a 99-cent Coca-Cola and then deliver it to your house. Or like a hot dog from somewhere. Go deliver me the $1.50 hot dog and bring it to my house. It's a different age now. Incidentally, to counteract orders from the Hilltop Mansion. Oh, fuck. I would not want to deliver to this. What the fuck? What do you mean you live all the way the fuck up here? You should not be ordering food from anything. There's no way. Can you tip? If I don't get a tip on this, you're liable to get fucking... I guess there's no tipping in Japanese culture. No, actually, I don't know if that's true. There might be tipping. I don't know. Understand it's different in different parts of the world, but someone should be paid a lot of fucking money for going from down the way fuck down here to up here. Anyway, incidentally, to counteract orders from the Hilltop Mansion, the restaurants had declared the minimum number of orders will be 3 starting next year. Alco and Alice were still in the dark to this fiendish change in direction.
この裏切り者。
Traitor.
だから帰ってくるのが遅かったのね。
Is that why you were late getting
帰
back?
宅部、学校までバス徒歩込みで片道20分のあんたが、なんで
She's mad.
5時以降に帰ってくんのか考えるべきだったわ。
Between the bus ride and the walk, the trip home takes only 20 minutes. I should have known something was up when you didn't get home before 5 o'clock. Unfortunately for Alco, she had been too out of it to even remember that she was the only one who had fallen asleep.
ああ、ひどい女。そういう時は残された一人のためにお土産買ってくるのが暗黙の了解だったのに。
Talk about Ice Queen. I thought it was clear that if either of us got food, we would bring enough home for the other person.
私だってこの前の外食の時はアリスの分も買ってきたじゃない。
Didn't I bring back something for you when I ate out last time? It was unknown how serious Alco was being, but she was visibly angry. She had already woken up hungry that morning, and from the time she was called to school until now, she had consumed nothing but tea. It was a small miracle that her stomach was not growling. She knew it was her own fault, but she persisted, wanting to get revenge on Alice for scolding her earlier.
この前ってあれのこと？
By last time, you
あ
mean...
なたが都心に出向いた時、夕食にお寿司を食べてきたのに。 お土産はなぜかコンビニエンスストアのビニール袋だったって話。
The time you went into the city and ate sushi but only came back with a plastic bag full of convenience store food. That time. Alcohol had kicked a hornet's nest.
何よ、買ってこないよりはマシでしょ。
So what? It was better than nothing, wasn't it?
真実は時に隠蔽すべきね。
There are times when you'd be better off saying nothing at all. Alice's icy gaze pierced through her. Alco had certainly crossed the line by going on and on about how the sushi circled around the restaurant while Alice ate her convenience store meal. This is definitely the face of someone who is gloating about they just ate some delicious sushi. But new things fascinated her, and she couldn't contain her curiosity towards the conveyor belt sushi shops that started popping up at the time. It was nothing short of miraculous. Even honesty can be a sin, given the right circumstances.
わかった、わかりました。じゃあ今回のは前のと帳消しってことでいいわね。
Fine, fine, I get it. Does this at least mean we're even now? Alice went back to her book without so much as recognizing the question. The fact that she did not confirm it made Aoko anxious.
仕方ない。
Well, today has
今日は
been...
役日だし、おとなしく台所に立って料理の腕を磨くとしましょう。
Well, today has been a total disaster. I guess I'll just whip up something in the kitchen. Stood up, announcing her intent to no one in particular.
あ、聞き忘れてた。アリス、どこで夕食済ませたの？
Oh, I almost forgot to ask. Where did you end up eating anyway? Alice's hand froze on our current page. She suddenly shut the book she was reading and stood up as if at wit's end. She walked across the drawing room with her book in hand. When she reached the door, she stopped and turned towards Alco.
聞きたい。
You really want to know? Are you sure?
まあ、なんとなく。
Sure. Alco nodded timidly, cowed by Alice's sudden vigor. Alice continued in her matter-of-fact way.
その猫が余ったメニューをくれたのよ。
The cat gave me one of his leftover deliveries. And with that brief response, she left the room. Chapter 1 done. It doesn't have to be normal. Little happening with last night. Alright, let's save. Go here. Yeah. I can just go back by going there. What does archive mean? Oh shit, is it books? Oh, the title screen. I see. Put back. Chapter 1. Chapter 1.5. Chapter 1, 7 days of spinning. Wait a minute, what the fuck is all this? Put back real quick. We'll go here. Girl in the mansion. I guess we haven't gone into 1.5 just yet, unless I'm... Let me see if I read this and maybe it will change. Morning in the city moved incredibly fast. It made one wonder if it was even a morning at all, with people so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I don't remember. The unfamiliar roar that awoke in him reminded him of a rock sled. The identity of the monstrous sound was the engine of a motorcycle. Mr. Yoshida, his neighbor, was leaving for work. It was hard to determine when night ended and morning began here. The town's urbanization was synonymous with insomnia. Already? Oh shit, he's still talking. My bad. My bad, OG. Already? It's barely sunup yet. Where could Mr. Yoshida be going so early? He sluggishly lifted himself off the floor. He caught himself starting to survey his surroundings out of habit before deciding better off of it, and made his way to the washroom. There he poured himself a cup of water and slowly gulped it down. I don't know too many people I don't know. I understand that it's apparently different in different parts of the area, but I've never really Fully understood again. It doesn't actually say where he poured himself a cup of water, actually. Let me take that back. Having been relegated to well water until recently, he found the convenience pleasing. Water is what I'm trying to say. It's fine. Pleased was definitely the word that best described how he felt. Civilization is about erasing inconvenience through optimization. The reduction of labor in our daily lives. Alright, bro, what are you gonna sell me on now? You gonna tell me how someone's here to take my fucking job? What are we doing here? Mr. Koga had taught him that while the essentials were easier than ever to get your hands on, life itself was growing more and more complex. So too was his duty to adjust to his new reality. As a distant relative of Sojiro's father, Mr. Koga had taken Sojiro in, even though the boy had been little more than a stranger in his life till that point. Oh, he's okay, that makes sense. Mr. Koga had helped him get registered at school and find an apartment to lease. Though he had insisted that Sojiro handled his residence card and register his change of address by himself. This series of procedures provided exceedingly difficult for Sojiro, but knowing that this was part of his new city life, he did his best to complete them diligently. While they may have a reputation for being a stickler for the rules, city officials aren't all that bad. It was the first thing Sojiro learned after beginning his life in the city. 2 weeks had elapsed since he left the countryside. As uneasy as living alone made him feel, he felt that he could make it work. It was not as if people who were spoken other language, and Mr. Koga was absolutely right about how practical the rules of the city were. Sojiro continued down the hard but surprisingly walkable path. Before work, he jogged in the park to pass the time. Even exercises like this offered lessons for Sojiro to learn. Each passing person has a new face to look at. The old man who greeted him, the young worker with his eyes to the ground, the girl on the bench surrounded by birds. They were all unfamiliar sights to Sojiro. Unaccustomed to the city, he labored to understand its rules. Whether they were complex, simple, or completely meaningless. Compared to mountain life, which only dealt with nature, city life left one with too many options. One could argue that such an environment was toxic for Sojiro. His life was a string of unsettling moments. But amongst it all, there were rules that he sincerely admired. For one, that the city revolved around various forms of profit and loss. The fact that one only needed money to get the bare essentials to survive the city was a comforting thought to Sojiro. He was like, I actually like this capitalist society. It's great. I get money, I get things. This is great for me, mountain boy. Actually, that makes me more question, what the fuck life were you living where, like, this is preferable?
Yeah, so simpleな話じゃねえよ。
Hey, not everything's that simple.
金なんてものはあくまで記号で、本当に大事なのは別にあんだからさ。
See, this guy gets it. Money is just a symbol. It's the other stuff that truly
所
matters.
詮は流動する肩叩き券と変わんねっつうが、別に1万円札食ってもうまくねっつうが。ともかく金で真心は買えねえじゃん。
Money ain't that different from those free shoulder massage coupons people hand out. And it's not like the food you buy with a 10,000 yen bill won't turn out bogus. Look, money can't buy you happiness. You get me? Maybe?
じゃねえよ、ざけんなよ。俺は悲しいよ。
Maybe. Are you for real? Man, I can't believe you right now.
ついこの間まで4000ポッチの日当にしかみ
Shoutouts to Shadow, playing Counter-Strike too.
くだらねえ皿洗いをしながら、まあ世の中金だよねなんてボソッと言わないでくれっつな。
One day, you're happy to break your back working at a full day for a measly 4,000 yen, and the next you're elbow deep in dirty dishes saying, it's all about the money. What's your major malfunction?
いや、貨幣制度は素晴らしいと思う。正直、物々交換の限界を感じた。
No. I think that the current system is kind of amazing, to be honest. I never realized how limited bartering can
それ
be.
より興味。ふざけてるとそれ、落とすぞ。
Anyway, Kinomi, you're going to drop that if you aren't careful.
えってうおーやべやべ次割ったら今度こそ俺の頭が割られちまうからな
Huh? Crap. Damn, that was close. If I break any more, it'll be my head next.
忠告サンキューそれで相談事もしかして金
Thanks for the save. So, what did you want to talk to me about? It's money, isn't it?
そうなんだ。とりあえずお金は大事で、たくさんあるに越したことはないって痛感した。なんで、できればもうちょっと働きたい。
Is no one teaching this boy any form of it? Exactly, I learned my lesson the hard way, but now I know that it's better to have more money than less. That's why I'd like to work even more than I am now.
マジマシンみたいに皿洗いをこなしながら夢のないこと言わないでほしいな
Are you for real? You already wash dishes like a machine.
世の中金じゃねえって言ったばかりじゃんかやっぱラブじゃんかところで水冷たくないですかね冬場の皿洗いって割り合わねえことバカ上ねえよな
Didn't I just say how money can't buy happiness? Love can, but... Back right up. Why is the water so cold? Say, we should probably get paid more for washing dishes in the winter, huh?
そりゃ冷たいけど、これぐらいは我慢しないと。
It's
山の
cold.
水は冷たいっていうより痛かったし。
It's cold, alright, but nothing I can't handle. Mountain water is so cold it hurts.
氷水と同じにすんな野生人しかしあれだね呆れた順応力いや忍耐力つうの
I didn't mean it was ice water, you hick. That thick skin of yours can be really annoying, you know that?
レジ打ちすらできなかった新人がよたった4日でしみったれた飯屋の社畜になっちまうなんてやっぱ世の中金ってことかね資本主義ってすげえ
For someone who couldn't even work a cash register 4 days ago, you sure got comfortable working for the man. I guess money really is everything. The power of capitalism ain't nothing to mess with.
うるせえぞバカバイト文句あんならやめちまえ
Shut your pie holes, part-timers. The door's right there if you want to quit.
うちにはごくつぶしにくれてやる小遣いはね
I don't have cash to waste on deadbeats. The complaint and chopsticks flew at them like a storm. This mess of a Chinese restaurant manager was a stubborn man who was willing to let minors work for him and didn't shy from violence, even if it was directed at the son of a lifelong friend. Sojiro felt that this is what Sparta must have been like.
ほら怒られた。
I guess Sparta but more
残されたことはきちんと
Chinese.
やらないと。
Look, he's angry. We need to work harder.
け優等生めこっちは何かと反抗したい年頃だっつうの
Wow, your nose get any browner yet? Me, I'm trying to make the most of my teens.
まあいいや話は変わるんだけどよ
Whatever. Right, been meaning to ask.
鈴木夜に出歩くタイプそれかチャリンコで出張る趣味いやまあどっちかでいいんだけど
Are you the type that likes to go out on long night strolls or more of a bicycle kind of guy? Not that it really matters, but...
バイトの帰りはほとんど夜になるけど、そういう話じゃないんだよな。夜の散歩も遠出も趣味じゃないけど、それが
It's always late when I go home after the restaurant, but that's not what you're asking, is it? I'm not really into walking when it's late out. Why do you ask?
いや何さ静木引っ越してきたばかりだって言うからよ俺らが言うのもなんだけどうちちょい治安が悪いっての柄が悪いわけじゃねえんだけどな
No reason, like you just moved here. Kind of weird question, but don't you think the town is dangerous? Not like people are bad or nothing.
年間10人ぐらい通り魔事件ってのそういうの起きてっから
But I mean, you know that we get 10 attacks like out of a slasher flick every year, right? And since they started, there's...
通り魔って、なんだ
What's a slasher? Alright, listen up, Sojiro. You're gonna have to watch a lot of horror movies as we get you accommodated to what they are
そっ
specifically.
からかよ
You don't know? He lived in the fucking mountains. What do you fucking think that they have a movie theater in a fucking mountain? No. He probably, like, washes fish. He had a bartering system, and you're gonna tell me that you think that they had movies up in a fucking mountain?
なんだほらカバン強盗でもないか
It's like when a thief snatches someone's purse. No bad example. Are you fucking kidding me?
辻切りってのが近いのか。住宅街とか
Okay,
まだ
that's
森
a
が
better
残ってる方に
explanation.
よく出やがるんだよ。そういうおかしいのが。
It's more like someone's killing to see if they can get away with it. Bunch of dead people in the woods near the suburbs. Real gnarly.
なんで、あんまり夜遅くは出歩くなよな。三崎岡の公園とか有名な怪奇スポットだから。
That's why you shouldn't go out too late. The park in Masaki Hills is a hotspot for weird stuff.
通り魔の犯人は口裂け女だったって話、知らねえか。
Haven't you heard about how they think the freak doing it is some chick with a sliced mouth?
ごめん。まずその口裂け女ってのがわからない。
Nope, this is the first time I've heard of a sliced mouth woman. It's a famous
怪談
yokai.
だよ。
But again,
口が耳
I
まで
guess
裂
he,
けて
he
る
lived
って
in the
やつ。
mountains.
今じゃさすがに時代遅れだけどよ。
Like I said, slasher film shit. They say her mouth extends all the way to her ears. It's a pretty old school kind of urban legend these days.
なんだっけ。深夜の道にな、コート姿の女が待ち伏せていて、私、綺麗とか聞いてくるんだよ。
Yeah, let me see if I remember the urban legend correctly. Is that a woman in a coat asks you, "Am I beautiful?" And then if you say no, she kills you. But then if she says yes, she also kills you because she gives you a the same smile that she has. So the right answer is to like give them a question that just like confuses them but does not actually answer their question. And that's the only way you're able to escape the woman in question. If I'm remembering my Japanese urban legend yokai stories correctly. Anyway, back to the story. How did it go again? There's a woman in a coat who asked, "Am I beautiful?" in the dead of night.
で、綺麗って言っても、いまいちって言っても家まで追っかけられて殺されるの。
Even if you say she is, she'll follow you home and kill you.
女の少年はおっかねえっつうか、アメコミの怪人っぽいっつうか。
Intense chicks like that are a no-no. It's like something you'd see in an American comic book. Hold up. Hold the fuck up, buddy. Which American comic book do we have this fucking woman that you're talking about? This is the 100% Japanese type shit that you see in Japan. Because the woman in question would not be doing this if it was one of our stories. Unless you're talking about like maybe the like pre-comics code era comics, like the Tales from the Crypt. Actually, okay, you know what? I take it back. It is kind of like to some Tales from the Crypt type shit. All right, you know what, my guy, you got it right. My bad. It's late. I wasn't thinking about the Crypt Keeper.
いや、それ本気で怖くないか。家まで上がってくるのか、その女の人。
That sounds really scary. Does she actually follow you home?
窓から入ってくるらしいぜ。ガサガサとこうゴキブリみたい。ギャー
They say she crawls in through a window, squeezes her way in like a cockroach. Yep.
のクソガキが厨房でその4文字は禁止だってんだろ。殺すぞ。
Gokibori. I told you not to utter that word in this kitchen. I'm gonna kill you, you little turd. I think mentioning turd is just as bad as mentioning like cockroach. The back of Konomi's head exploded in pain with the impact of the boss's frying pan. Sojiro was reminded of just how dangerous this town could be.
殺す殺すってバカじゃねえの。
I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, right. I'd like to see you try.
普通そっちの方が禁止用語じゃねえの。ここレストランなんだしさ。いや、あんまうまくねえけど。
But what kind of boss says that anyway? This is a restaurant, ain't it? Well, maybe calling it that is too much.
木の実、頭大丈夫か？
Is your head okay, Konomi?
え？ああ、心配無用。俺なんだか頑丈さには定評があるから。特に頭部について。
Huh? Ah, it's nothing. People tell me I'm real tough, especially my head.
ともかく、そういうわけなんで夜の暗がりは気をつけるぞなもし。しずき、見るからにかもそうな顔してるし。
Anyway, avoid the dark, okay? You look like a sitting duck.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
ところで、年間10人というのは多い方なのか？
By the way, is 10 victims per year a lot?
知んねえよ。少なくはないだろうけど、多い方でもないんじゃないか。
Man asked, is killing 10 people a lot? And he says, I don't know, it's more than a few though. Don't know. It probably isn't a lot, but it's totally ain't a few either.
ま、 うちの通り魔事件が他に比べて厄介なのはまだ犯人が見つかってないってことだからね。
The real scary shit is that they're still out there, somewhere, since they haven't been caught. He laughed cheerfully. Kenomi was probably trying to take the edge off his story, but the noble intention of his laugh was completely lost on Sojiro. His friendly warning was equally futile. Sojiro was simply impressed that Kenomi was able to laugh it off. On the way home, nobody ahead or behind, Sojiro proceeded through the dimly lit street when suddenly he turned to face an improbable sound. Ouch. Something stabbed him in the head and fell to the floor. He frowned. A small bird had apparently flown into the telephone pole before landing on his head. The starling cleaned itself off and flew away, the falling of the bird, in its desperate escape thereafter, was unlike anything he had experienced in his life up to now. Most of the townsfolk would have seen the incident as unlucky, ominous, or even sinister, but Sojiro just nodded and went about his business. You must understand. What might have been a first for him was surely an everyday occurrence to these city folk. Alright, we're gonna put this back. I'll continue reading. But that makes me so save. I guess, yeah, it's not time to save, and it's not time yet to go to the next episode. We have to read through all these little thingies, so. Alright then. That's it for today's video, though. Thank you very much for joining me around. I think it's starting to pick up. I'm interested in where it's going in. I mean, I was already kind of interested in just seeing what's going on with the characters, but now that some spooky shit seems to be being hinted towards, I'm kind of down for that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. Till next time, you guys have a wonderful day, and goodbye. Peace.